So the Madden Gladiator build is a level 150 Dexterity Faith build that's going to focus on using Vyke's Warspear and Frenzied Flame Incantations. You are going to do a lot of damage with this build. You are going to have a really good time getting through the game. And overall, how I have this build set up, you're going to have a great mix of doing damage with melee weapons and having a really good time with incantations. So let's get into it. So the whole idea behind this build is just to breed chaos among the lands between you. You're going to be the harbinger of the Flame of Frenzy. You're going to have a lot of Flame of Frenzied incantations. It's going to be awesome spreading madness around the battlefield, and for the majority of bosses you're going to actually do a really good amount of damage. But you also could take this build into PvP if you wanted to. I would just sub out one of the talismans, which we're going to get to in just a little bit. So as stated before, this build is going to synergize around Vyke's Warspear because that's one of the main weapons, if not the only weapon, that spreads madness around the battlefield. We are going to be using it at +9. It's going to have the Frenzied Flame Thrust, which is a jump into the air and smash down on the ground type of Ash of War, and it's going to spread madness and flame damage all over the place. And just want to take note, madness is flame damage, so you will want to be buffing that as well. It's going to have a physical damage of 237 plus 179 and fire damage of 152 plus 83. Its attribute scaling is Strength D, Dexterity B, and Faith C, so we're going to be leaning into the Dex Faith side of things. Its madness buildup is at 65, which is going to help you build up madness in your enemies along with all the incantations that we're using, and its attributes required are Strength 16 and Dexterity 20. If you do want to get this weapon, it is going to be up at the Church of Inhibition right on the north side of Liurnia of the Lakes after you defeat Frenzied Vyke when he invades you. Now our seal that we're using is actually very important for this build. We're using the Frenzied Flame seal, which you can get from Hayeda's questline, which I will have linked down below as I just finished filming that quest. The reason being it's going to boost your Frenzied Flame incantations by 20%, which is absolutely massive, and we're also going to be potentially pouring more damage on top of those to make you absolutely unstoppable. So as far as the talismans go to synergize well with this build and give you a great quality of life for your playthrough, we are going to be using in slot number 1 the Fire Scorpion Charm. This is going to raise your fire attack but lower damage negation. So your fire attack is going to get a 12% damage boost, but you are going to take 10% more damage when using this. If you are going to use this build for PvP, please take this one out because you don't want to take any extra damage in PvP. For our slot number 2 talisman, we have the Warrior Jar Shard. This is going to boost the attack power of your skills, so your Frenzied Flame Thrust on Vyke's Warspear is going to be 10% better when it comes to its damage, but if you do have the Shard of Alexander, please use that in this slot instead. I just don't have that on this playthrough yet, and I killed Alexander early to get it. For number 3, we have our Phlox Canvas Talisman, which is going to greatly raise the potency of our incantations. This is going to give you an 8% buff to your incantations, which is going to stack on top of our Frenzied Flame seal, giving us about 28% buff to our Frenzied Flame incantations. And lastly, we have the Godfrey Icon, which is going to enhance charge skills and spells. This is going to give you a 15% damage increase on charged incantations and spells, and considering the majority of the Frenzied Flame incantations, if not all of them, are chargeable, then you're definitely going to want to use this because overall that's going to give you more damage with those incantations. If you want to get any of these for yourself, the Fire Scorpion Charm is going to be up in Mount Gelmir near Fort Lead. The Warrior Jar Shard is earned by killing Alexander early and not doing his questline. The Phlox Canvas Talisman is going to be dropped by Gowry at the end of Milson's questline, and I will leave a link down below so you guys can follow along with that if you need help getting that one. And then the Godfrey Icon is going to be located in Altus Plateau in the first Everjail you come across. This is going to be the Golden Lineage Everjail, and Godfrey the Grafted is going to drop this icon for you. Now for our Flask, I am going to be using the Flame Shrouding Cracked here, which is going to boost your fire damage by 20%, and I'm also using the Faith Knot Crystal tier, which is going to give you an extra 10 faith. So this will rocket our faith up from 50 to 60, which overall is going to allow us to get more damage out of Vyke's Warspear and a few other incantations. If you want to snag the Flame Shrouding Cracked here, it's going to be dropped by a Putrid Avatar found near the Minor Erd Tree in Caelid, right next to the Smoldering Church, and the Faith Knot Crystal tier will be right next to the Demi-Human Forest Ruins in Weeping Peninsula on a little altar east of the Church of the Pilgrimage. So I do want to go over the incantations with you just so you know exactly what we're working with. I'm also going to show you at the very end of the video where to get every single one of these incantations in kind of a speed round, so stay tuned for that when I show you the stats. But the first one we're going to be using is Inescapable Frenzy. Now this is a very situational Flame of Frenzy incantation because it is only effective against other Tarnish. So So if you are going into PvP, this is definitely almost a one-shot depending on your build and your buffs, but it is incredibly fun when you grab them, pull them in, and burn their eyes out. Now, Howl of Shabriri is another one that I use for this build, but it does come with a big problem. It causes you to do 25% more damage, which is awesome, but you take 30% increased damage, so it is incredibly situational. If you are looking to go in and really not get hit by bosses and do a ton of damage to them right off the bat, then this buff spell is definitely for you. Otherwise, I would stick to just Flame Grant Me Strength and Golden Vow, which are the other two options for buffs that we have in this build. The next incantation we're using is Frenzied Burst. This is your sniper rifle, sniper shot type of incantation. You can use it at incredible range, and it does a really good amount of damage to NPCs and bosses, while at the same time building up madness. And the last damaging spell we are using is the Flame of Frenzy. This is a giant area of effect damage spell where you spew madness out of your face in a very wide area, so you can hit as many people as possible, and it does a lot of damage as well. And for our last two buff incantations, we're going to be using Flame Grant Me Strength and Golden Vow. Flame Grant Me Strength is going to give you plus 20% physical damage and plus 20% fire damage, and Golden Vow is going to give you plus 15% damage and plus 10% to all damage negation, which is great because both of these incantations are going to stack. And just something to take note of real quick, Howl of Shabriri is not going to stack with the other two, but it will stack with Golden Vow, so if you want to use that to get that extra damage and damage negation, you're welcome to do that. Now brace yourself for the speed round, because I'm going to show you exactly where every single one of these incantations come from, and I'm not going to take very long doing it, so here we go. Frenzied Burst is going to be dropped by a golden scarab right outside of the Church of Inhibition here on the map. Flame of Frenzy is going to be dropped in Weeping Peninsula in the Ailing Village. Inescapable Frenzy is going to be located in the subterranean Shunning Grounds after defeating Mog the Omen. Howl of Shabriri is going to be located at the Frenzied Flaming Tower within a chest here on the map. Flame Grant Me Strength is going to be found behind Fort Gale on a body between some flame chariots. And Golden Vow is going to be in the Corpse Stench Shack at Mount Gilmere. And last but not least, we are going to look at the armor real quick. We are using the Rotten Duelist Helm, the Champion Pauldron, the Malformed Dragon Gauntlets, and the Rotten Duelist Greaves. Now, sadly, this is not going to give you over that 51 poise mark, but it looks incredible, and it really goes with the RP of our Maddened Gladiator, which I like a lot. All of these pieces are reasonably easy to get. You can get the Rotten Duelist Helm and the Rotten Duelist Greaves from killing Rotten Duelists in the Consecrated Snowfields. The Champion Pauldron you can obtain from starting with the Hero class, or it's also sold by the Nomadic Merchant in Caelid right here on the map, and the Malformed Gauntlets are going to be a reward for killing the Dragonic Tree Sentinel in Crumbling Fair Missoula. And there you have it, guys. That's our Madden Gladiator build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave down in the comments anything that you guys would change, things that you liked. I love looking through the comments and talking to you guys. It's a lot of fun for me. I'm also going to leave my stats on the screen right now. As you can see, we're level 150. We have 50 Vigor and 50 Dexterity and 50 Faith. Those are our main stats for this build. You can shift around anything else that you deem necessary, but that's kind of what I'm using, and I've had really good results. And let me know if there's something else you want to see. I'm about to start up some Lords of the Fallen content here in October, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. If you've not subscribed to the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you can know when my videos are coming out. I have videos coming out on Mondays and Fridays with shorts in between. So, per usual, guys, thank you so much. And until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.